This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Special Chronicles presents Road to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. Real athletes, real stories, real moments from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Follow the full 10-part series at specialchronicles.com/2026USAGames. That's specialchronicles.com/2026USAGames. Or scan that QR code right above on the screen. On this episode, we are talking about the support system, and we are welcoming Cathy O'Neill, who is a family member whose daughter, Katie, is an athlete competing in gymnastics for Team Illinois. Can I say that the best team? Well, we're an independent platform, so I can say the best team. Please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Cathy on finally on Special Chronicles. Welcome, Cathy.
Hello.
So it's good to finally have you on the program. I know your daughter has been on a couple times already. So she already has a 2-time guest, and now you're a 1-time guest.
Yay! I'm honored.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you agreed to come on, because on this podcast series, this Road to Special Olympics 2026 USA Games, we really want to, as I was telling you in the pre-show, we really want to highlight not just powerful athlete stories. I mean, that's first. There's a reason why Katie and the other athletes episode is dropping before this episode, but the support system of whether it's families or coaches or staff is right behind is always behind the athlete. And so there's a particular reason why we thoughtfully are putting this episode behind the athlete's episode, just for that reason. But before we get into the reason why we're having you on, share with our listeners, and then we'll get into your family role in just a moment. But just take our listeners back to how we got connected.
Well, I think we just got connected. Katie joined Special Olympics maybe about 8 years ago now. I don't remember exactly when we met you, Daniel, but we were so grateful, and you are so vibrant and fun and easy to talk to, and such a good role model that I knew I wanted my daughter to meet you and talk to you and learn from you.
Awesome.
And it's ever since, it's always a joy to see you. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah. Same thing with you and Katie. Now let's shift to the family perspective. And this is something that if our listeners, I do not know which off the top of my head, which order that this, I think this, okay, yeah, I think that this segment is airing in the middle. And so right before your episode, I believe our listeners would have just heard the coach perspective.
Okay.
I believe. And then and then just after this, our listeners will hear the staff perspective. And something that both the coach and the staff perspective have both highlighted is family support, of how coaches work with families. So as we shift to this family perspective, first, thank you again for joining us on this podcast series. And to start off and kick off this interview segment, what does being part of your athlete, Katie's, support system mean to you?
Well, it means everything. As a mother, as a parent, my job is to make sure that she gets to where she needs to be. She's prepared mentally, physically, with everything she needs. And the joy I get to see as she has grown through Special Olympics, and her life has grown and changed immensely, which means mine has. So I will continue to support her in any way I can to get her on the road to full independence and happiness, and just to live a very very fulfilling life. So I'll continue to do it.
Awesome.
It's a lot of work, but you know what? It's so worth it. So
awesome. I'm gonna tone that around to just a quick inclusive pout that I think that in kind of drop that fourth wall of the studio to let our listeners know that just like you are helping Katie get to events, host sporting events, athlete leadership events, and all that to prepare for this podcast. Just like you helped Katie, as an athlete, Katie was helping you to get into this studio and get set up. Just like I helped my dad and I helped my mom as well. So I think it works both ways. I don't know if our listeners can touch on that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Katie's my technical advisor on everything.
So yeah, same thing with me with my parents. Yeah, I think the technical.
I told you this already. I'm like, you might have, but I don't remember. So
yeah, definitely. So I hopefully our listeners catching that well. Just like our parents, our family is that supporter. We're also that supporter for our parents. So it works. It's a two-way street, not a one-way street.
Right.
As you know, as we all know, and by the time our listeners hear this episode, we will all be in Minnesota. So the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games are happening right now, this week in Minnesota. As Minnesota is hosting these national games, how does that feel for you? How does that feel for your family, just overall?
We are beyond excited. We can't even believe it's finally here because we've known about it for over a year. And then the anticipation of hoping to be nominated prior to a year, I feel like it's been a couple of years in the making, and OMG, it's here. We can't believe it. We can't wait. We just can't wait to get there. And we know we're going to be blown away by everything there, and we're ready. Let's go. Let's do it already.
Awesome. Yeah. And just, I think before Team Illinois was announced to the public, I think Katie had even texted me just ahead of time that the big news. So it's neat to kind of hear about some of that exciting news even before it's announced to the public.
Privileged information, Daniel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and even like with having a microphone in front of me, I'm also careful to not leak it on the.
It's so hard.
Yeah. I don't know if you can say pod waves, but instead of radio waves, pod waves.
Pod waves, for sure.
We just came up with that.
You better go in. What's the word where no one else can use it? I forget. Get a copyright it.
Yeah, the NDA.
Non-discllosure. No, it's like copyright pod waves.
Oh, pod waves. Oh yeah, copyright pod waves. Yeah, that's what you say. Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's our
way to millions.
Yes. Before this episode drops, we should copyright pod waves. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. See, that's why I am so glad that some people like our friend Jose and stuff want us to live stream this, but there's a reason why we need to record and not go live. By the way.
Some secrets.
Yeah, some secrets. Yeah. So, building upon that family support that you said, as we look into training support, as you've seen your daughter Katie train and get ready in gymnastics with Team Illinois. Talk to our listeners about what that support looks like in your home during her training season. So she goes off to my sisters used to do gymnastics, so I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Gym. So after Katie goes to the gym and comes back home during this training season, this months and months of training for the 2026 USA Games, talk to our listeners about what the support looks like in your home during Katie's training season.
Well, basically, I'm the one that's always saying it's time to go to bed, drink water. Are you eating enough? Katie, don't forget to eat. I'm not hungry. It doesn't matter. You got to fuel your body. So I'm kind of the nag of the family to make sure she does everything she has to do. Laundry, get all of her leotards ready, all her workout clothes. Gymnasts have a bag of props that they have to bring with their grips and stuff. So do you have everything for practice? And so just basically that, and like, let's go, let's get there. And okay, now we got to go home. You got to go to bed when there's late practices, because she works full time too. So fitting it all in has been a challenge that we greatly welcomed. But yeah, so I'm just making sure she gets.
I love that. And I think a lot of parents can probably relate to that, being even us adult athletes, of being that nag. Going kind of off script a little bit, kind of, but based on what you said about how she also works full time, and that you guys, you and Katie and your family are happy to fit this once in a lifetime. Well,
sure.
For most people, once in a lifetime. Can't say that for everybody, because I have known some athletes that have gone to USA Games a couple times. I know, lucky. To be fair, this one athlete that I know went one time with Team Illinois, and the next time went with Team Missouri. So to be fair, two different state programs. But anyways, with that, with her having a full-time job, I know, like for myself, having in a way two part-time, one United, one Special Chronicles. So having two part-time, but it's just like Katie having a full-time job. So how has her employer and walk? Because like those, I mean, you can't necessarily stop your full-time day job. So how have they been inclusive and welcoming? Oh, maybe not, but how have they kind of fit all this in?
Katie has been very lucky. She's had a couple full-time jobs. Right now, she's a paraprofessional at a school. So that means her hours are 7:30 in the morning till a little after 3. So they and training is in the evenings. So that's been no problem, and nothing on the weekends. In the summer, she works for the Cubs, and both places celebrate Special Olympics. They love to hear her stories. They love what she has to say. So it kind of is a perfect marriage of things. Without Special Olympics, she wouldn't be working full time. And where she works full time is learning about Special Olympics, and Katie's trying to spread the word and create awareness. So it's really a perfect situation.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's so awesome to hear how it's that perfect marriage. Yeah. I feel also lucky that between my jobs at Special Chronicles as well as United Airlines, both have been obviously fully supportive of. I mean, it's awesome that whether you have one full-time job or like in Katie in my both of our cases, where both jobs have been fully opening to Special Olympics, and I think that's what even if there's an athlete whose employer does not support Special Olympics, they should at least either get their employer to support, or maybe that's not the right place for them, and they need to find a company that does support Special Olympics. So definitely, love that. As we dive into the emotional journey, as you know, every family has emotional moments along the way, both in the gym, on the field, and off the field as well. Talk to our listeners about the most meaningful part of this journey for you, this journey of leading up to Special Olympics USA Games 2026 in Minnesota.
Okay. I would say Katie getting involved was emotional because we were so happy for her. But most of the emotion came after the fact, when she became an athlete leader and she started giving speeches and telling her story. I struggle to not cry, because it's like we're shocked that she's up there saying what she's saying and people are listening. It makes me want to tear up right now. And and it doesn't stop because each thing gets better than the next. So the emotions for everybody involved, it's amazing because it's just like, okay, we're exactly where we need to be. This is getting her to where we eventually want her to be. But it's the competing. I cry when she competes. I cry when she does well. I cry if she falls. And then I cry during the speeches. And so it's
awesome. If I remember correctly, back in 2023 at the International Law Enforcement Torch Run Conference, I know I might not have been as talkative. I don't know if I was as talkative, only because I had just flown back I was at the same week when it was in Barcelona for a Coca-Cola photo shoot.
pretty cool.
I might not, hearing from my dad, I probably wasn't as talkative as I should have been, but that was only because these two big opportunities.
Yeah. And we didn't really know you probably then either as much.
Oh yeah. So hearing back to hearing Katie as an athlete leader, that speech, like whether it's myself giving a speech or another athlete leader, it's so powerful hearing. I don't know if you want to comment on like that speech that she gave at the International Law Enforcement Torch Run Conference, because that was really, and I don't know if it's online. Maybe we can try to see if you want to send me that speech, because maybe we can try to include it in the show notes for this episode.
Okay. It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Cathy O'Neill, Special Olympics, LETR. It's on YouTube. But we didn't even really know much about Law Enforcement Torch Run. It was still pretty early in Katie's journey, and we were blown away by that. And her giving that speech in front of, there were like over 3,000 people in that room. And then the big screens with her face, and like, it was just like, and then running with Tim Shriver Jr., holding the torch with him. Like, the whole thing was just amazing. I cried for 5 days.
Awesome.
And we met all the police officers, and now they're like family, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and speaking, I want to kind of touch on. I know we're kind of going off script a little bit, but Katie's joy for the LETL. I think she has a jean jacket with all the different. I don't know what you call it, the badges. Yeah. So right before the Regency Polo Plunge, my local police department in
Grange.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to give the exact town away for our listeners. I don't want random fans coming to my door. Yeah, the LaGrange area, we'll say. But a block from where the studio, where I live, is the local police department, and I went there to record a interview with a couple of our LETL police officers. And and I don't know if they told me this on air. They might have told me this off air. It might have been on. I don't know. It was one of those. You can go back in. I think it was February, March. No, it was March. It was March of this year.
Okay.
2026. And I think it's Take the Plunge, and
okay. I'm writing it down.
My local police. Now you guys are in Elmhurst, right? And so 2 different towns near each other, but 2 different towns. My local police department, they know Katie because they said, "Oh, your friend who always wears the jean jacket." so know that even across inter departments and even across LETL, Katie is making an impact.
Well, what it does, it's kind of, I didn't anticipate this. I don't know. Are you listening? I thought are you listening, Katie? Yeah. So, she just, that at the first conference, we collected all these patches, and we're like, what are we going to do with them all? We didn't know it was a thing. And she's like, I got a plan. We bought a jean jacket. So we had them on. And every time she wears it, we go places, the cops that have given her patches want to know where their patches are. And then the ones that haven't given her patches are like, well, how come you don't have a patch of mine? I'll get you a patch. They've mailed them to us. And those patches are from around the world because of that conference. but we get more from around here because people see it. So it is it's really kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, and even like looking at the airport, I went into, and I don't think it was like near the OETR Commons. It was a different time, but there was an officer from, I want to say, Ireland that I went into.
Oh, cool.
And so, but yeah, it's, I have not collected those. I have a few badges, but I have not collected those. But what I have collected is pins from the World Games and the US, like in like Abu Dhabi and Berlin. Like I've got right on the other side of the camera here, you see, well, you don't see, but I see. I've got a whole bunch of lanyards, and one of those lanyards is from the World Games. And with it's neat. Like my girlfriend Georgia, I think, has like a bulletin board or like a case that she put all of her.
So cool. Katie collects pins too, so you guys have to show each other your pins collection sometime.
We will, and maybe we'll have to do for this episode on the Instagram. Maybe we'll have to take a picture and so we can show our listeners all our pins. So maybe even maybe by the end of Minnesota, we'll have to take a picture of all.
She'll get a bunch more there for sure. Yeah,
same here. So you guys all, if you're listening, stay tuned, and you can see all the pins that we all.
The pin reveal.
We will reveal. Let's not move into. We talk about family support, but let's move into the relationship that you and that Katie has with your coach, particularly not just the local coach, but the Team Illinois coach.
Okay.
Talk to our listeners about how that relationship with the coach has helped your athlete, has helped Katie grow as she prepares for these USA Games.
We are so grateful for our coach. Obviously, if she didn't start this team, we wouldn't be where we are. And then in particular, Katie got involved because of Katie did gymnastics in high school. She was on her high school team. No surprise, she wasn't one of the better gymnasts on her team. And after high school, she was following that coach on social media as he was helping people with Down syndrome do gymnastics. So she messaged him like, "Hey, can I help?" And he's like, "No, you can actually be an athlete." So that's how it all started. So we're grateful for him to have brought us to where we are. He still helps coach. And he's one that can really, if Katie's struggling on something, he can just be like, I tell him all the time, off the record here, just swear at her, make her laugh. That'll make her like comfortable and put her at ease. I can't do that. I can't do it. I'm like, please just do it. And then he did it, and it's helped. So they have that kind of relationship where he knows kind of how to push her. So it's awesome. And then our head coach, again, if she didn't have him, we wouldn't be where we are. And so we're grateful for all of it so much.
Awesome.
So
awesome. Is that coach the same one that's coaching Katie for Team Illinois?
No,
or different?
We have a new coach from Team Illinois that comes from a different club, and she's been wonderful too. We see her like once a month, and there's two more coaches, and so one of them we knew before, but one's new, and things seem to be very good with them.
That's one of my coworkers, one of the other athletes that works at United. He competed in gymnastics at the Orlando USA Games, and I think his coach, like he has even went on vacations and traveled because of our travel benefits.
Yeah,
with his coach, and he I'm blanking on his name, but
Glenn. He's one of the coaches this year. So and we've known him for a while, but he's awesome.
Yeah. So like whether it's him or another coach, or even like for myself with bocce or basketball, like my coaches, all of our coaches, really that relationship that we build, whether it's 1 hour during practice, whether it's at the local level, or now for Katie's now experience, whether it's coaching at the national level or even the international level, there's a documentary film that I've been an advisor on called All You Hear Is Noise. I don't believe it's been out to the public. I know a couple years ago it was going to other film festivals. But yeah, it's called All You Hear Is Noise. It follows 3 USA Special Olympics athletes in Minnesota. Okay. I led a panel discussion at a screening in Berlin. Very, very, very powerful because it talks about, before the game, during the games, and then after the games. But one of the I bring it up because one of the parts of this film, it highlights the relationship with the coach, and this is a triathlon team, so they're doing running, swimming, and cycling. Okay. And they, in the hotel room, what they did was the coach had them get put I think cold water in the bathtub, and they soaked their feet. And so it's that types of relationship that the coaches have with us athletes. So I know I went off a little bit, but yeah, that film, All You Hear Is Noise. If you all go to specialchronicles.com, search for All You Hear Is Noise, you can find that panel discussion in Berlin. It's I should text that filmmaker and see when it's coming out, because it really should come out soon, because it's very, very, very powerful. And maybe when it does, we will dive more deeper into the themes and messages on this podcast.
For sure.
And so let's now kind of move into, as I think you sort of touched on a little bit, but all of us athletes handle nerves in different ways. And big competitions, not just at the local level, but now at this national level, big competitions come with big feelings. How are you helping your athlete? How are you helping Katie manage the whole nerves, manage pressure? Because it is a one-time opportunity, but how are you helping her manage this nerve and pressures of competing at the USA at these national games?
We are approaching this in that, of course she wants to win. Of course she wants that gold medal. She's working hard for it. But really, I think Katie has realized this is more an unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime experience. She wants to take it all in. She wants to do her best. She wants to win. But I'm preparing her for, if you don't win, if you don't get a gold medal, you're still there. Like, how cool is that? And just take it all in. So in doing so, hopefully that will alleviate some of the nerves, and at the same time, just put her at ease so that she can do her best. I mean, I think to get wrapped up in the, I want to win, I need a gold. And if you don't get the gold, then you're just disappointed and it's not worth it. Well, I think you'd be missing the whole point of this whole experience. So
yeah, and I'm glad that you highlighted that, because it goes back to what our athlete oath is. Right. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. It doesn't. I think all the time, whether it's our families or our coaches or staff, always remind us, and even athletes among ourselves, we remind each other that it doesn't matter if we win; it just matters if we're brave in the attempt. And I think that's a big message that we have, and Katie has, and that whether you're competing at the USA Games, whether you're there as an athlete leader, whether you're there as media, whatever role as an athlete, whether it's on the field or off the field, that I think we are, Katie and myself and the thousands of other athletes going to Minnesota, already on this national stage, showing the world just what it means to live that athlete oath. It's not just an oath that we say at the beginning of our competition, but it's an oath that this is how professional athletes, this is how college, high school athletes, how just adult athletes competing on a local, they can follow our example, not just being on a podium, but actually how to not just win, but how to be brave in the attempt.
Be good, and then I wish somewhere in the oath there'd be like, and be a good person too. Like, don't be nasty. Katie loves to cheer on her competitors, and like we're all in this together. We've all put in the work. Like I think there's a huge lesson in that everybody in the world could learn. Yeah,
absolutely. And when I went to college, I took I was still competing, but I took I think a year off. And during that year that I took off from competing, I still like my friends still played on a basketball team, and I went and I took pictures, not on this camera, but like on a big other camera, not only to take pictures but also to cheer on my team. And I think that's just like what Katie does. That's a big thing of what we like to do is, even if we were not able to compete, we still go not only volunteer, but also to cheer on our teammates and friends, and although not only the same team, but other teams.
Right.
Across,
right.
So, and I'm sure when Katie is not competing, she'll be probably cheering on other teammates.
I think that's a big part of the experience. It'll be fun to go to the different venues and see some of the other sports.
Well, and speaking of that, if you guys are looking for things to do, I know I just found out that I think you got, or at least the athletes are taking a coach bus. But if you were to fly to Minnesota, there's honestly, even if you don't fly, the in-flight magazine, it's now digital, so it's online.
Okay.
Shared a link on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook to this. How to take an accessible trip to Minneapolis. So I had a FaceTime call with my uncle, did a whole bunch of research, and found out like all the things that you could do outside of the competition. So if you're looking for things to do, I will try to send you that off air. If you and anybody else is looking for things to do. And also if you all listening, you scan that QR code, go to specialchronicles.com/2026USAGames, click on the blue button that says Minneapolis, and that will take you directly to the article. So I don't even have to send it. You can just very easily click.
Perfect.
Click on it. Let's now move, because we've now been talking for half an hour. That's what happens when you kind of go off script a little bit, but it's fine. Let's talk about celebrating growth, because that's a big part of this movement. Talk about, for your athlete, for Katie, what growth have you seen in Katie as she prepares for these 2026 USA Games?
It's exponential. It's ridiculous how much she has learned and how she has grown in terms of preparing for this and knowing what she needs to do, and listening to her body and trying to help others to learn what she's learned. A big part of us is everything that we have learned, we just want to share with everybody, which is why the whole athlete leadership thing is awesome, because she gets to tell her story. We want more and more people to be able to do that, to be able to learn from what we've learned. And now being on this national stage, we're just telling more people, this is awesome. Get your kids involved in this. Look at what Katie used to be to what she is now. It's night and day.
Speaking of, I want to highlight something that you said of helping other athletes other people with. Yes, my dad is shouting at the. I don't feel like pausing this. See, that's a family support. Letting each other know where we are. Okay, so
tell your dad I said hi.
He can't hear you because of the headphones. But yeah, okay. So with that, I want to touch on something that you said about letting other athletes. I mean, other families to get their son or daughter with an intellectual disability involved in Special Olympics. I am hopefully before USA Games. I was asked from Special Olympics International to do this video. They're I guess putting together a video series this year about one tough thing of what's one tough thing that you've experienced because of your intellectual disability, and then how has being involved in Special Olympics helped that. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I'm bringing this up because I think it helps to highlight of what you said. And one of the big tough things, and my mom helped me to kind of come up with some notes together with AI.
Cool.
And that is confidence, because a lot, just like I'm sure Katie has had, me growing up from school, like I would come home from school in tears.
Yeah.
Like in high school, I had this mental health depression in high school, and because kids would make fun of the way I talked, made fun of the way that I dressed, and
So
particularly making fun of the way that I talked and stuff. That, just like I'm sure Katie understands, I and others with intellectual disabilities can't help the way, like, it's just a part of who we are.
Right.
But and so that one, so if to kind of sum this all up, if it wasn't for, and just like Katie, like I didn't get involved in Special Olympics until in my teen years, because we didn't know that I could compete. So that's what I think, if more families, just like you said, can know to get their son and daughter involved, even if they're not athletic. Like, right. I wasn't that into sports, but have a big part is because I knew that I could make friends, I could get fit, and then I developed that. And so even if you're not, there's a lot more to this movement, into the Special Olympics movement, that I think more people shouldn't realize, that starts on the field, it goes off the field so much.
One of the things that Katie says in her speeches is, I might not look like it, but I have intellectual disabilities. And so you were saying a roadblock or something that's kind of been in her way is, people have different expectations if you look a certain way, and you disappoint people if they don't know that you have intellectual disabilities. So I think just throwing that out there, like, hey, I don't look like it, but I do. And so that should just lower some expectations for people, but it should also make other people feel good. Like, oh, okay, wow. And then that opens people's minds to Special Olympics is so inclusive of so many, I don't want to say disabilities, but intellectual disabilities or special needs, or, and I think that's where Katie tries to help. Like, now I'm hearing myself.
Oh, is it better?
Now it's better. Yeah. So, okay. So I think that's been a roadblock, but then that has also opened some doors. So, and I think sometimes she likes to say now she just owns her disabilities and she uses them to her benefit, and to teach other people, like, that's okay if you have a disability. You can learn to adapt, and you can learn to grow and achieve and do awesome things. So
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Let's now move into family sacrifices, and because there's I'm sure behind the scenes that, and you don't have to get too personal, but just to kind of, again, let that fourth wall down. And that's why we try to be as realistic as possible on this, because I think that's when we're able to kind of let that fourth wall down and be realistic. That's how our listeners, our viewers, can relate. And then once they relate, then they can better get involved in Special Olympics. And so families, as you know, often make many sacrifices behind the scenes. Talk about to our listeners about the sacrifices that your family has made to support your athletes, to support Katie's goals.
Okay. The first and maybe the most obvious is that I'm lucky that I don't work. My husband has a very good job, and he supports all of us. And so if I were to go to work, I would love to have a job, actually. Love to have a job. But when would I be able to work? Because I'm driving to practices and we're doing all this stuff. I love it. And it's all helping Katie to get better. So someday I'll become more relevant. Someday I'll have a job again, once we make sure she's fully independent. So I guess that's a sacrifice that oftentimes I overlook, but that's a huge sacrifice too. So, and I think that's why we want to help so many other people too, to just like maybe there's an end to all this or not. I don't know. So that's a huge sacrifice that I'm willing to do.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm sure other parents can relate to that too, whether they don't work, or even if they do, even if both parents do work, they're still, I'm sure that they're still sacrifices too. Moving on to giving advice to other families. This is something that I know both my dad and even my mom, I know in right before we started recording, I made a note of this because I want just to highlight one particular story, and we don't have time to kind of share a lot of stories, but of my mom and I were on the phone with the mom of another athlete in Illinois, because that's where we all live. And so the best team at the USA Games, Team Illinois. Oh, can I say that?
Yes.
We're an independent platform, so people are not telling us what we can and can't say. So, yeah. With that, we were giving, particularly my mom, but we were giving advice. She was giving advice to another mom to get his son involved in Special Olympics, and then he has since competed in a few sports, and so that's a big thing, that whether it's my mom, whether it's my dad, even at the last USA Games, I'll give another quick example, and then I'll turn it over to you, Cathy. But the last USA Games, one of my coworkers at United was volunteering with our employer, and her daughter Bella is, I don't know if you've ever met Bella,
I don't think so.
Crash, but she's I think she's like up in the northern region, but anyways, she her daughter, so her mom, Christine, saw an Illinois athlete speak at the when United and Special Olympics partnership started. And then so she kind of saw some athletes there, and then she got to know me and the other service ambassadors at United, and then she brought her daughter down to the USA Games. Her daughter saw athletes competing at the last USA Games and saw and said, "These are my people. This is, and then since then she became an athlete, and then within two quick months after becoming an athlete, she became an athlete leader. So she kind of fast tracked just because of how powerful this movement is. Yeah. And so that, and even that, my dad was talking with her mom, and we got her connected with, at the time, Michelle was with the region that this athlete was in. And so that's, my dad was talking with, and even at the last one of the athlete leadership trainings, my dad was giving advice to Bella's mom. And so my dad has done it. My mom has given advice as well. And so before we get to the final question, because this is the second to final question, share with the listeners, just kind of a couple of those stories that I just shared. I'm going to turn it over to you, Cathy, to share with our listeners, share with our viewers, advice that you would give to other families supporting athletes on a journey like this. What advice will you give to other families? If you want to share a little story, you can do that.
I tell everybody, absolutely get involved. I tell everyone where to go, what the website, who to sign up with them. I give them Michelle's number. I give them who's ever number. And then I tell them, not to everyone, but you can tell the people that could be an athlete leader, and you can tell that they would be good at it and they would grow at it. And even within the athlete leadership, there's so many different levels of things that people can do. So pretty much everybody could do it. And I just say, you can almost do something every day. With some of the SRAs, there's a different sport every day. Maybe take one at a time and get your feel for it, get to know the coaches, get to know the other people, and it kind of just takes off. And then I always say, and do everything within it. If you go into the summer games, do the dance, do the parties, do the luncheon or the dinner and stuff, so that you're meeting more families than just your individual little team. And encourage everybody to do the same. Don't stay within your own little bubble, because I feel like that's when it really blossoms. When would we have ever met Daniel Smrokowski? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so cool that we do know you now, and like this organization brought us all together. And that's and you're part of what makes it even better. It's not just your team. That's what I mean. So get involved with everything, get involved with everyone. And if you wind up doing too much, then you ask for someone to help drive or whatever. We're always hoping to.
Like speaking of like helping to drive, my girlfriend Georgia, like whether it's my mom or whether it's her mom, like we'll drive each other, or my co-worker Lowen, like we'll help drive each other to summer games or athlete leadership, and that's. We'll kind of wrap up this second final question with a nice little bow that this movement, the Special Olympics movement, it's much, everything that you've shared, everything that I've shared in the past 45 minutes, it's much more than an organization. It truly is a movement that is, we're not just saying transforming and changing lives, but it really is transforming the lives of Katie, of myself, of the over 6 million athletes across the globe, as well as families and staff and volunteers and coaches. It really is a movement that is transforming so many lives in this inclusion movement.
To me, inclusion is everybody gets a chance. Everyone has an even playing field.
Okay. Jeff and I, no, I definitely want you to answer that. But we've got a bump up to introduce our final question, and so perfect. But we don't just want our listeners to hear. We want our listeners to hear your story, but even more than that, we want our listeners to take inclusion, bring this inclusion movement into their towns, into their workplaces, communities, schools, and so I absolutely want you to answer that question, but we're going to roll this bumper to introduce the final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality.
Dignity. And the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
Okay, we're gonna keep this inclusion talk flowing to because I know you've been at the edge of your seat to answer this. I've been at the edge of my seat as the host. Our listeners are at the edge of their seat, unless you are walking or running or you're listening to this, then maybe or walking around the house and you're listening to this, and maybe you're not at the edge of your seat because you're standing, and you can't be on the edge of your seat when you're standing. But can you tell I recorded 3 interviews today and had 3 cups of coffee? 4 cups if you include the pre-show.
Pre-gaming.
Pre-gaming, yes. I've been pre-gaming with coffee and water. So I'll ask you, and this final question is also going to be included in kind of a montage episode next month in July for this series, because it's going to be a different episode than usual in July. Because we've been talking a lot about how this inclusion movement is starts with sports, but this inclusion movement that is Special Olympics is about sports, health, leadership, education. And so this final question will help you will help our listeners to bring this inclusion movement into their own lives. And so what does inclusion mean to you? Inclusion
means everybody gets a chance. everybody gets a seat at the table. Everybody has something else to offer, all equally important. And I think if we approached everything in life that way, we would all have learned so much, and we would all just grow from each other. Everybody gets a seat at the table and brings something different. You don't even know what everyone else is going to bring and offer. It's one of those, you don't know what you don't know. So if you include everybody has something to gain from it.
Awesome. That's a perfect way to whip up. Thank you again, Cathy, for talking for the past 15 minutes. I know this was a little bit longer of extended. I think I'm going to have to talk with my content producer to we structure how we release this. Because
I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
Fine. Well, and I was going off script a little bit too, but it's fine. So thank you again. Anytime that if you and Katie or the rest of your family wants to come back on the program, you guys are always welcome. You know how to get you all know how to get in touch with me, and hopefully my mom and I will see you in Minnesota. So I am already making notes of a few athletes, particularly Team Illinois athletes, and actually some athletes from other states to go and see and hopefully meet up. But if I want to remind all of you listening, go download we don't know the name of this app, but I think it's just search for Special Olympics USA Games. Download that app, iPhone or Android. Follow Katie. Follow. You can send cheers and applause.
Yes, that's the name of the app. Okay.
And I think that's. I honestly.
I can show you what it looks like too.
Oh yeah, listeners. I don't know if the background will look. Oh, it's the green screen is a little bit. Back up a little bit.
Right here.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, she's pointing. It's the USA Games logo. So just like that logo that the USA Games logo, Special Olympics that you guys all see if you're watching the video on the YouTube or with the audio podcast, just look for that in your iPhone or Android app store. Thank you. Anything else, Cathy, you want to say?
I was going to tell you a little secret.
Oh, okay.
Katie, come here. We're going to tell Daniel a secret. Katie got
me and
you may see Katie, but it's just between us.
Me and the thousands of listeners.
Oh, I was going to say, can we do it after that?
Oh, yes. After we record. Okay. Yeah. Let me do the outro, and then you can tell me the secret. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
This has been a true honor. This has been a true honor. I love that you include Katie for sure, but to include me, like I'm not worthy. So I'm so excited. So thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, we have to include families and other support.
But you don't have to include me. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you again. Oh wait, what did I do? Sorry, what did I do? I clicked on the wrong. Okay, there we go. It's been a long morning. Right. Thank you again, Cathy, for sharing your stories, your heart, and your dedication. The 2026 Special Olympics USA Games aren't just about competition, as Cathy mentioned. They're about community, connection, and the people who lift athletes up every step of the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and follow and share it with someone who believes in the power of support. And join us next time as we continue to highlight the incredible athletes and communities preparing for the Special Olympics 2026 USA Games. You can scan that QR code if you're watching the video on the YouTube or the Spotify, or click the link in the description below. I'm your host, Daniel Smrokowski. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. And remember, choose to include.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.